I'm a big fan of symbols of all time periods. This is an old drawing, symbologeode, kind of like a crystal of 115 symbols throughout time. But this translation that I'd like to show is one that I had in my collection. It was a little folder I have that says translate these. So sadly, I don't have the link to the book. I'm not exactly sure when it was from or who it's by, which kind of stinks, but it is interesting and it's somewhat universal a little bit, although most likely put out by the Jesuits. But either way, on this channel, I do a lot of things based on the art, and the art is fantastic. I love the symbols, I love the meaning, and certain times I just feel a need to translate certain artworks so I can get a better grasp of what they mean, how complex they are, and it helps me basically be able to put symbols into my artwork in various ways that I've seen the ancients do it. So again, I apologize for not having the link to this book or any really information about it, but you'll get the gist. It's pretty old and it's pretty cool, and definitely take a look at the art. And my translations again may not be perfect, but bear with me, I think you'll get the point. So here we go. So the title at the top I'll read first, and then I'll read the bottom. So it says, "Which is enough? This light feeds. The golden lamp which you see radiating rays favors the star in imitation of many by its light. Thus the prince at the same time, gleaming in purple and prowess, beat the hearts and eyes with an illustrious radiance. The moderation of things keeps them healthy and long-lived. These, as well as the oil lamp, tend to be of strength." So very interesting, and you can see they've got like some surrealism, this immaculate detail, nice dimensions, nice architecture, just excellent art, excellent use of symbols. Every part of it is to be read and kind of described, which is pretty cool. This one says, "Let him be the light and guide in all this." So again, look at his hat. Look at all this thing's packed with symbols and the beast he's riding. So the imitation of Prince Proteus is praised by many. For deceits and deceits, to wit, deadly stars often create destruction to the author. Therefore, through wit and prudence, the holy crown, like Cynosura, guides her in the running. So I looked up Cynosura, and that's a personification of the constellation known as Ursa Minor, who became that way as a nymph on Mount Ida in Crete, who nursed Zeus when he was being hidden from his father Cronus. So as a result, Zeus placed her in the heavens as Ursa Minor, and the brightest star in that is Polaris. So definitely take a look at this artwork with all that in connection. "They do not halt their course, nor move their station. The outstanding beauty of this sublime is constancy of mind, by which they neither draw sweet things nor flee to be feared. This hero of Tyrintheus exhibits in Engonassus, and the swan props up the pool with a slight plow. By design the prince conquers both fortune, if he is steadfast in his office everywhere." Very interesting. I love how they use animals as representative, and just the paths of the animals, the lives, the traits of the animals, all are symbolic of different humanity paths and different paths of life and aspects of it. Here we go. "Even so I am taken on high." That looks like a tartar, a griffin, or an aquila up there, an eagle. "The west favors with dew, but the Euro thunders with hail. The southwest and the north wind vomit thick clouds. The earth is shaken, having suffered not a single fall. The birds hide themselves, and the deep woods lurch. But the greater soul imitates the queen of birds, and even so, near her life, she is near Jupiter." So again, there is just so much symbolism in this, and so much connection to a past that we have lost. The symbolic past is, wow, it's a lot different now. This one says, "He soothes the heat and increases love. What is Venus alone that is the clemency of the king? She soothes the tide, this measure of justice. From this venerable Majesta increases love. As a result, the day is usually more popular with the world. Thus rang the souls of Phoebus, the pigeons to thee in praise. Thus you draw the hearts of the people, prince of the people." So very positive, awesome. Look at the sun, the hearts with the wings, everything, the birds. Beautiful art. I love the frames. I love how they just place everything. So, such nice engravings, really. Here we go. This says, "In both prepared. A terrible storm, as you see, threatens both sides. Or is it to be feared even by a brave man? He met them with one pair of arms and prepared them both. and the living companions do nothing, in this Leo. If piety and strength will accompany Cruz's sword, the harvest will be laurel corded to the hand. So there is just the words, the art, both of them are symbolic riddles of just what is happening in these scenes, what was happening at this time, and these archetypes of life, really, these aspects of life that are pretty universal in some way, in lessons, nice lessons, maybe. He that soweth bountifully shall also reap bountifully. If anyone could speak to the princes by which the golden harvest would grow, Apollo would be grateful to art. The bountiful, however, is infused into the upper hand. He teaches that there is sufficient seed in the fields, the best land for the hands of the needy, well or deservedly. Again, I apologize because a little context of when and where this book came from would certainly help here, but amazing symbols all around. The cornucopias, the money, the hands, really amazing. Kind of representative Buddhist. There's a lot of hands art in there, but either way, well, probably not. The wings and voice follow. When the sun smiles, which is the Jesuit sign, he favors the blooming fields. He applauds and rises up and praises the lark of God. Immediately the mother is accompanied entirely by the nest in the air, and he calls the winged horse in a joyful chorus. Thus, by the example of the king's piety, he draws a hall with the people, and in heaven's favor he beat the kingdom. So that's a little bit of Jesuit action definitely in there. But I do really love the symbolism of the gods and the animals and the birds and all the planets, and it's just a really interesting connection. I don't know what to think, but here we go. He becomes brighter in all things. In Gemini, the double day takes nothing away from the honor of the sun, but the radiance itself also yields 2 stars. For the more brightness it pours into the stars or the world, it receives more. The center of its light is everywhere. Thus majesty shines brightly in all in which she uses a magnificent light. This riddle is especially interesting because it brings up the Gemini again, and there's the sphere with the dome, a concave dome underneath, the sun at the top, Gemini on either side, the rays everywhere, talking about the light, using it. This connection with the celestials and life is just really awesome. I wish we had a better connection now, because it's kind of become cheesy. Here we go. Agree intimately with your standards. How well they agree, neither does he deceive me. The automation of Aurora is resounding in Memnonius's melody. While swimming like shells and spreading their mouths, they confess. That is hope, that is the thing, nobody either way deceit. Of course the prince deserves both ears and eyes. If what words sound like heart, hand, they approve. So that one's a little bit all over the place, but wow, the clock, the fingers, the time, the shells, the symbols, again, you have to take into account the mythology of these characters that they're representing. It seems like people were definitely more in tune with the celestial processes back in the day, and it was just a part of everyday life that could be just divined upon. So here we go. This one says, who does what he does? Who receives what is his? That song is of gold, which is usually honey to the palate. But justice recreates the mind one more. Music arranges its parts into instruments. Justice assigns to each one his own, as is right. The former Phonascus, the prince, directs the latter, and thus harmony beats these and others in harmony. Amazing. I love music. I love the divinity of it. I love that it was just worshipped as a divine thing. Imagine probably our humans got given the gift of music and shown these instruments from their masters and then just mimicked it. And I can imagine the music that they would come up with and what we come up with now was just paling in comparison to their potential and their sound and their style. I wish we could hear the music of the ancients as they jammed, knowing that the celestials and gods were connected with the jam in the music. It's just, I can't imagine what that would bring to the whole musical power. And this last one says, fortune hangs up in reverence. The tree itself bows with heavy branches, lest the spoil of the king's evils fall to the winds. This type of spirit is among the gifts of the modest. When submitting to oneself, it increases the wealth of honor. Fortune cannot stand in a high volume. He alone teaches her that which he respectfully does. So again, take with it what you will. Amazing art, amazing symbols, amazing time period, just an interesting glimpse back into this world that we just have really no clue about, and we're taken so far away from it through our culture. It's on the totally opposite side than where they're trying to guide us. Thankfully, people like us all out there, you all are plowing through the baloney and going right for the truth wherever it is. And I think just getting a grasp of these ancient cultures and what life was like with them, how they thought, their symbols, their everything, will continue piece by piece to just help paint the puzzle that we've got going on here and that we're building on as a community. And it's really fantastic because I think there's a lot we can learn, a lot we will learn, and I think soon enough some source is going to unveil something upon the world that's going to be better than aliens, better than anything. It's just going to be the truth of how massive and magical everything is. It's going to blow everyone's minds. It's going to just change everyone's perspective immediately, and we'll be able to get back on the right path, doing great things in a divine atmosphere where everything is perfect once again. Bless you all.